Alright, here's the first skill for freestyle I'm going to cover, and that is filled airtight balloon, we're going to call it. And pretty much it's very self-explanatory. You're going to fill your lungs with air, keep it locked in there as good as you can, and use it to create as much buoyancy as possible all throughout every stroke cycle in freestyle swimming races. You can see here, if you can displace water, it pushes you up with buoyancy, and that'll counter gravity, so things won't pull you down to the, at least that force won't pull you down to the bottom of the pool. And if we go down further, there's all these great equations you can learn about. If you wish to be an expert in this subject, it's really fun to do. Recommend it, but pretty much what happens is the weight of the object that you displace, or the volume of the water you displace. So if I displace a pound of water that takes up this little circle here in my hands, sphere, then that pound of water is going to push at all sides with a pound of force, and it's going to get distributed evenly like in this picture here. So pretty much there's a pound of force broken up into all these different little arrows, which gets fairly complex. It actually is a lot more complex than that, because as you go down, water gets more dense. Like this line, the top line is going to have less dense water. We'll draw some doodles on it. See, I got a pen tool here. So this little, right here, oops, that's a horrible arrow. So that first line is going to have less density. That's why these lines are actually getting longer. And this line's going to have greater force because there's more water in it, because the water's all squished up. And that's as seen by this guy right here. Doing this on a surface is not the easiest. So there's that. And then, since all the water is the same density down here, it's all going to push up with all these forces here. So that's when we're really taking into account, because forward and backwards, we're just going to forget about those because they cancel out when we're swimming. Yeah. And this upward one is when we want to maximize. And hopefully we don't have any of this, because we don't want any water rushing over us in freestyle, really. If we put all these skills together in the end, that's kind of where we see the technique converging. Okay, so that's that. We'll turn that off and go over to maybe an example. Actually, let's talk a little more about what a balloon is. So let's look at the diaphragm. So in our lungs, there's this diaphragm. There's one of those great Google image searches you can do for diaphragm. We actually want to breathe into our belly, so breathe that air down into your belly, and that's going to fill the lungs up even more. And you can see the picture. This is where the diaphragm is. So I'm going to do that, and then the next step is you're going to purse your lips whenever you breathe out. Because what that does, just like it does to my cheeks and this old gentleman's cheeks, it's going to purse it out. So it's just like filling up our balloon even further. So what that's going to do is going to keep our lungs from squishing in from all that water, pushing them down, pushing it from all angles. So it's important to purse your lips every time you breathe out when we're doing this skill. And here's kind of what it looks like from an intro perspective. The Richard Quick series is a great resource still to date, and we're going to see, he talks about all sorts of biomechanics, which is fantastic. Let's pause it right here, so we can see that her lungs are all hidden. She's just got her shoulder coming out of the water for the recovery, because for many other skill reasons, we pretty much want to do that. But otherwise, she's got her lungs fully submerged at all other points in the stroke. Actually, let's watch a little bit of underwater. Let's see. Fernando Scherer. Free underwater. I think I mistyped that, but it'll still show me some good stuff. This is a great example video from this old website, swim.ee. And we can see how Fernando is going to be. He's got pretty much all of his lungs pressed deep underwater, and you don't ever see him pop up much higher than that line. We can see that more with other swimmers, but we can see how this line actually starts to whoa, my computer's freaking out a little bit. Alright, so let's just go to this video of Nathan Adrian's freestyle. So we can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So his body's got a little bow away. That's kind of what we saw. His lungs not exactly pressing really deep into the water all the time. But he's still got him covered by a film of water that kind of rushes over his back a little bit. And just to visualize a bow wave a little bit better, you can see this little boat. It kind of builds up in front right. And we saw that kind of with Nathan Adrian. Let's say there's some other great things, but that pretty much covers the filled airtight balloon skill for freestyle. If you do that really well, you will have one of the biggest foundations for stroke technique. I'm going to present these in an order where we're going to build the foundation up first. That's going to allow us to pretty much piece skills on top of one another to build a bigger and better freestyle. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Next one I'll do a little bit on strength training and how we can start to use strength to grow muscles and measure if we want to grow them, if we want more endurance, pretty much for different components of the freestyle swimming stroke. Pretty much to achieve any kind of a performance you want without having to always be training in the water and swimming normal stroke, trying to piece all these skills together, you know, during every set and hope that you're doing them right and training the right muscles. So anyway, we'll go more into that in the next video, and hopefully you enjoyed this first step towards becoming highly educated in applying individual skills to achieve a big personal best performance. Thanks for watching. Adios.